What's up, guys? Welcome back. It has been a minute since I've posted, but today I want to talk about chronic anxiety symptoms, anxiety symptoms that seem to last for weeks or months or even longer for some of you. I really struggled with this, and it seemed like after I got out of one cycle, I would go right into another cycle with a new set of symptoms. And overall, if you know my story, this lasted for 5 years before I was able to finally recover. So I kind of want to talk about why this happens, my experience with it, and something that you're gonna have to do to get out of it, okay? So you wanna watch this whole video to get all the value. Before we jump into this, guys, thank you so much for 100,000 freaking subscribers. It has been a crazy ride. I'm going to make a specific video about this in the future. I just gotta figure out how I wanna do it. So know that that is coming, but guys, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this family. So if you are new here, be a part of the family. I make tons of videos like this to help you with your anxiety. For a lot of you that are watching, there comes a time where we transition from having more isolated or acute anxiety symptoms, right? Or panic attacks to a period of time, unfortunately, where we were having it nonstop. And for me, that happened pretty quickly. For others, it took months to get there. But I kind of want to cover a few reasons why this is happening. To make you feel less alone, and sometimes just knowing why these things are sticking around can help out with our acceptance, and it brings our awareness up, right? And it gives us some more confidence that this is anxiety and can help you move towards your recovery. So I think that that's important. So for me, there got to a point to where the chest pain was always there. It was always there. I wasn't getting any breaks unless I was asleep. But as soon as I would wake up, whether it be in the middle of the night or in the morning, whenever I'm supposed to wake up, as soon as that happened, I didn't help it by looking for symptoms and scanning and, where are my symptoms at? That didn't help the process. But pretty soon after I'd wake up, my chest would start to ache and it would tighten up, and I would just go through the cycle every single day. And one thing that's happening for a lot of you guys, the longer that you have anxiety, the more panic attacks, anxiety attacks that you have, the more fear, the more that you just deal with anxiety, there's a likelihood of your stress hormones being elevated in your body. Now, I'm not trying to play doctor. In fact, go get checked out by a doctor. You need to make sure, first of all, that the symptoms that you're dealing with are anxiety. If you haven't been checked out, stop watching this video, get back with me after. Make sure that you get checked out by a doctor and you get that initial reassurance, and ask them to check your stress hormone levels. And for a lot of you, you'll see that the cortisol is a little bit too high in your body. And whenever that happens, you're going to be in a more chronic state of anxiety. It's going to cause you to be more tense. Basically, it's going to cause a lot of your symptoms to stick around longer than what they used to, right? You used to get breaks. Now you're getting it. An example of this is my chest pain. Even on a good day, or whenever I'm supposed to be having fun or enjoying myself, and I feel like today my anxiety isn't super high, I would still always have a dull ache that would just bother me, pester me, like, hey, I'm still here, right? And I think this starts with the cortisol, but then something else happens and we reinforce the symptom sticking around. We start to fear the symptom more because it is happening nonstop. And for those of you that have health anxiety, you're like, well, why am I having this on a good day? I'm not even being consciously triggered. I'm not consciously anxious right now. Why is my chest, oh my God, that must mean that this is something bad. There's something wrong with my heart, and we'll go back and we'll get checked. There's nothing wrong with getting a few reassurance visits and getting some tests, of course. Do everything that you need to do in the beginning and do it as quickly as possible so you can move on. But we start to think, for some of us anyways, we start to think that we're being misdiagnosed. Like, nah, my chest is still hurting when I go home after you tell me that I'm perfectly fine. I don't care what the test says. So that's a whole other issue. But we struggle with that because we're having symptoms when we feel like we shouldn't even have the symptoms if this was to be anxiety. So we start to question our health. Our acceptance levels drop significantly and we become more afraid of it. And fear is gasoline for this anxiety symptom. And we start to focus on the symptom a lot more. Something else I feel like happens, because I believe anxiety symptoms are messages from the subconscious saying, hey, there's something wrong. So for some of you, that's a headache. For some of you, it's stomach pain. For some of you, it's chest pain, right? And it can be a little poke or it can be a punch, like to try to get your attention. Your subconscious can poke at you with a little dull ache in your chest, or it can scream at you and give you a panic attack. But ultimately, I believe personally, and this is just me, I believe that it's a message that our subconscious is scared and it needs help, and it needs you to guide it out of this fear, right? And to be the leader in the conscious-subconscious relationship. So we're getting these messages, but we're not viewing them like that, right? So we are showing fear. It's confusing our subconscious even more. It's scaring it even more. And it feels justified for being scared and constantly giving you these symptoms. So I think what happens, it just becomes a habit of the body and mind to give you symptoms in a certain area, because these are the symptoms that get your attention. Those are the symptoms the subconscious feels like it can get you to act, or to get you to safety, or to get you out of the car, or to keep you from going back to work, right? Or getting in a social situation. So the message is actually coming through loud and clear. And as long as the message is working, I feel like it's going to keep happening. If you're not changing anything else in your life, which we'll get to in a second, if you're not doing anything actively to fix your situation, and every time the chest pain gets delivered to you and you're scared, and you basically justify that the symptom was needed, it will continue to happen because, hey, it's working. It's working, okay? So the subconscious thinks that it's basically being successful by getting you to show fear consciously so you can get out of this dangerous situation. Another reason I like to view anxiety symptoms as messages is the fact that sometimes the message changes because we finally accept that set of symptoms as being caused by anxiety. We don't fear it as much. We don't focus on it that much. An example, once I finally accepted that there was nothing wrong with my heart after 2.5 years with my cardiophobia, guess what? Magically, the symptoms started to melt away. But since I hadn't fixed my problem with catastrophizing, since I didn't make a lot of changes in my lifestyle, since I didn't work on some of my root causes of my anxiety, whenever I felt something new, I overreacted and went into another cycle. And this happened over and over for 5 years. So for some of you that are going through this cycle where you have a certain set of constant or chronic anxiety symptoms for a while, maybe a few months to a year or two, and then you finally get past it, well, guess what? If you haven't fixed anything else in your life, if nothing else has drastically changed aside from the fact that 2 years has passed and you're finally accepting that those symptoms were anxiety, there's probably going to be a problem down the line. Either you're going to feel something caused by anxiety or something that's not caused by anxiety. You're going to overreact like you always do. You're going to do all the same old behaviors that you haven't learned from in the past, and you're going to go into another cycle. And that was the case with your guy over here. Would go from constant chest pain to, I feel something in my stomach, put all my fear in focus. Now I got 3 months where this stomach pain won't leave, okay? And again, sometimes you may just have a stomach ache just because you have a stomach ache, but then you put your fear in focus in, and now all of a sudden you're having tension, you're having IBS issues every single day that's now caused by anxiety. It's pretty mind-blowing that the brain and the body is that powerful. You can have that connection and direct symptoms and direct tension to certain areas in your body just by fearing something being wrong with that particular part of your body. But I believe that it can. So I think what happens once you finally get out of that and the subconscious knows that you haven't fully changed, it's like, oh God, I got to get his attention. So let's make his head hurt. And then you start to fear again. You're like, oh my God, something's wrong. But the subconscious feels justified in that because it's trying to get you to make changes. Do you not realize that, guys? It's trying to get you out of this. It doesn't want you to just, tell it to shut up and then it's just stop. Okay, I'll stop seeing the chest pain because it's making you uncomfortable. Your subconscious is trying to save you. It's trying to get you to make changes in your life for you to be happier. So if you accept that, but you don't change anything else in your life and you don't work on your root causes, the message is just going to change. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I like to view anxiety symptoms as messages. Some people may not see it like that, but I like viewing it like that. So how do we get out of this vicious cycle? How do we get past our constant anxiety symptoms aside from just building up enough time and awareness to a point to where we finally accept that they're that there are symptoms of anxiety and nothing else, right? And we show less fear and then they kind of go away. I don't want you guys to have to wait around for 2 or 3 years of constant testing and doctor visits and all this stuff to finally accept. How do we do it faster? A lot of you guys aren't going to like to hear this, but I'm not going to sugarcoat on this channel. I'm going to tell you the truth, okay? It's not going to be easy. You have to do things that are good for your mental health while you have anxiety symptoms long enough so where your subconscious is like, okay, I don't need to send these symptoms. They're not justified. He's still doing his exposure. He still works out. He's still sticking to these lifestyle changes. He's changed his diet up. He's practicing gratitude. He does meditation every day. And I keep on trying to tell him that I'm scared and that something is wrong, but he keeps on showing me, that things are going to be okay, that things are going to be fine. And we're going to keep doing this, that we are going to stick with it. Wow, this is what I've been needing from him all along. So I'm going to start to back off. Your subconscious starts to trust you and your new habits and your new conscious intentions, right? It's starting to trust you more with your exposure. You know, you're getting deeper and deeper into your exposure plan. But a lot of you guys want the symptoms to stop first and then I'll go do my exposure. It does not work like that. It does not work like that. You need to have a routine to take the edge off. Then you got to go out there and expose and show your subconscious that you can do it. Another thing that people get confused with, I'm not telling you to not be afraid. Okay, in the beginning, that's going to be almost impossible. It is okay to be afraid in the beginning. What I'm asking from you guys is to be brave and go do the exposure. This is, I get chills because this isn't talked about enough. I want you guys to be brave and show the courage to do the things that are good for you while you have symptoms, because something happens whenever you're brave and you keep coming back. And you got to be brave, right, to face your enemies, to overcome them. It's okay to be afraid of your enemy. I'm asking you to be courageous and to be brave. And what do we do by doing that? We start to build confidence. Every day that you come back, you feel a little bit more confident that you can handle this situation. You feel a little bit more confident in taking care of your enemy, right? You feel a little bit more confident getting into the car or being around people in social settings. You feel more comfortable traveling. You feel more comfortable at work, right? Because you're gaining confidence. So it's okay to be afraid. I want you to show bravery and courage to go do your exposure and to do the things that you need to do while you have anxiety symptoms in order for you to build confidence. And with greater confidence, the fear starts to go down. As the fear goes down, it gets a little bit easier. And guess what? As the fear goes down, the symptoms start to go away. Show confidence to your subconscious whenever you go out there and you practice your exposure. Let's leave an affirmation down below in the comment section in all caps. I want you to comment, I will show bravery. I will show bravery. There are so many resources. If you're looking for more help with your anxiety, in the description and in the first pinned comment. My Elite Anxiety Bootcamp is down there. I recently just added a feature on there to where you can actually do this in installment payments. So if money has been an issue for you, you can actually do this in installment payments. So check that out. The link will be down below in the description and the first pinned comment. It's been helping a lot of people. It's changing lives. Tons of downloadables, tons of videos. It'll take you step by step on how I personally recovered from panic disorder, health anxiety, and generalized anxiety disorder. It was the hardest thing I ever did, but I compiled everything into this course to help jumpstart you towards your recovery. One-on-one coaching, if you want to get on a phone call with me, I do that. Send me an email. My email's down there as well, and I will send you over all of my coaching options, and I would love to help you in a personal way to get towards your recovery. Other resources, there's online therapy down below. If you've never tried therapy, check that out. There's Facebook groups down there. My other social media platforms are down there. Guys, I love you so much, and again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for the 100,000 subscribers. I'll be making a more personalized video for that in the future, so be looking for that. But guys, I love you all, and until next time, keep fighting.